Welcome.
Attention, please.
Welcome aboard.
Welcome to the No Comfort Zone podcast. It's time to get out of your comfort zone and live on purpose. Broadcasting to the world from Rockford, Illinois. This is your wake-up call.
Warning.
You are the solutions to all your problems. Stop thinking average. Become the hero version of yourself. Every day, every time, without fail, no exceptions. It all matters. You've entered the No Comfort Zone. It's time for a reality check.
Your team is a direct reflection of the leadership. Once you take that aspect, once you put that into play, once you really believe it, that no matter what you say, no matter what you do, whatever you have to criticize about your team, it's really a direct reflection of about you. And what's a perfect example of that is in the movie 300, King Leonidas. Do you think King Leonidas would be talking trash about anybody on his team? The 299 guys that he was with, or however many it actually was. I don't know. I don't think that would be the case. I don't think that he would be the guy that would be saying, oh, my guy sucks here, this guy's lazy, he showed up to fight late. I don't think he's that guy. I think it was basically a bunch of great followers because King Leonidas was able to make tough decisions with integrity and had true character. And I'm just going off of what the movie, I'm not a historian, nor do I know what really happened, but I thought the movie was phenomenal. And one of the best things is, as Leonidas was leading his team, there was a question that was asked to the other members of another team that had joined. And he goes, you only brought this many people to fight. And he's like, King Leonidas kind of made the thing. And he goes, what do you do? The guy's like, I'm a blacksmith. What do you do? I'm an artisan. What do you do? And then the guy said something else. And then he goes, basically he asked his people, he goes, Spartans, what's your occupation? And with one voice, they all made the announcement. That was pretty good, I think, that I just did that. So think about that when you're talking about your team. And this is more of a management leadership thing because that's what I'm dealing with right now. And again, the whole thing about this is getting out of your comfort zone. And if you've listened to the podcast that I've done so far, it's so easy. It's so comfortable. It's so appropriate. And today's to blame everyone else for the reasons why you're short and the reasons why you're not coming up with, the reasons why you're frustrated. Hey, if you want to turn your sales team around, lead by example, but more importantly, train your people on what you're holding them accountable to. Train them so they know. I mean, let's go back to the Spartans. From an early age, almost from birth, they knew what their position was. Well, your people that come in, they don't know that. Everybody in your organization is selling the culture, selling the product, selling the process. So really what you have to look at is what message are you sending? Now, you could be that person that I'm talking to right now that's dialed in. Get up early, stays late. The perfect leader, if there is such a thing, you could be that person, okay? But you could have somebody on your team that maybe takes a shortcut, shows up late, decides not to do something when they're supposed to do it, makes it convenient for them and not the team. You know what I'm talking about, okay? If that person who's just kind of lacking or cruising along or riding the coattails, all of those things being said about a person, you could have the best management team and getting the best results. But if you have that one person that's not on board, man, it is definitely going to compromise your overall mission. And I'm saying that because I have experiences like that all the time. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen, people there in No Comfort Zone land, I guess if you're listening and you listen to a few of these, you're part of my tribe now, which I really appreciate. And I'm so grateful that you're listening because it's truly there to help you. But guess what? I'm actually part of the problem. I'm too lenient and I don't hold people accountable. And the reason it being so, I'm fearful they'll all leave. And where this whole entire podcast started was one of my newest managers gave me an article and said they need help with this because the article was basically about a football coach who told the team members, and the name of the article was Turn Your Shit In. That's the name of the article. And if you want to come to practice late, turn your crap in. If you want to walk on the grass when you're not supposed to, turn your crap in. If you don't want to try very hard, or if you want to compromise the team by not training very hard, turn your stuff in. If you want to call me like the coach's name, by first name, instead of coach, whatever his name was, I think it's Coach Chico, if I'm not mistaken, then turn your stuff in, turn your shit in. And I think it's a great way to look at things, but you have to do everything else first. What I mean by that is you can't have any kinks in your armor before you start to go that route, because all too often then it's hypocritical. And the fact is that this junior manager proposed this article, and all the other managers are reading it now. I think it's fantastic. We're going in the right direction. Now I need to support that manager and make sure that the team is in place. So just remember how we tie this into the no comfort zone. It's easy to blame and put the poor results on the entire team, but at the end of the day, you have to be accountable for the good and the bad of your entire team. And if you let them know what's expected of them and you train them on what you need them to do, and they show initiative, they show good judgment, they show decision making, they show initiative, and all those other things that go along with creating, well then guess what? You're going to have great results. It might not happen overnight, and then if you train them to do it the right way, ethically, it's just a matter of time. If you treat them with, what's the word that was 2 years ago? Mindfulness. If you show them that you care and understand that 30% of your team is going to have some major stuff going on in their life. So if you know that, you know how to handle it. The cash analysis system that I talk in the blueprint is a great help for this, because it goes over the knowledge, the attitude, the skills, and the habits of the individual team members. And yeah, this is for personal development, but because I'm in management and I am a leader in an organization that has a lot of people, my hope is that you'll take some of this information, apply it to your life, apply it to your business, apply it to your small team, apply it to your big team. And it truly works when you actually apply it, but you can't just sit back and say, you know what, I expect everybody to care now. About 15 years ago, I had a wonderful opportunity to work with my uncle, who's got a PhD in statistics, and he was the sole trainer for a gasoline company. I think it was Amoco, which is now defunct, but I think he came up with a great training manual, and we were able to work together side by side. And I went and did a 2-week training course, and he basically wrote the training manual. And what's awesome is at the end of it, he goes, what you've done is you've actually created a sales process, but more importantly, you taught people how to care and why they should care. And now here's a guy who's highly educated. He used to be a teacher himself. He's a great human being, highly ethical, a wonderful educator, and a great uncle to me. Has helped me out through some hard times, and he's always been there for me. And I'm lucky to have the opportunity to work with him and to align with him 15 years ago when we were working on something. But I'll tell you what, teaching people and getting people to care is one of the hardest things that you'll ever have to do, whether it's your kids, whether it's your spouse, whether it's people in your business, whether it's somebody that you're just whatever, by random run across or whatever. Getting people to care is really tough to do. And I've talked about this in a few podcasts now. Getting people to care is really, you have to show them that you care first. And how do you do that? By showing attention. Hey, the way I look at it is by training. You go to a room where you got 200 executives in there, and how do you have their rapport when technically you're not an executive, you're just a speaker? Well, you have to get on the same page with them. How do you do that? By asking questions about what's important to them in a huge auditorium like that. Then you can show them that you care, and then you can align with them, and then you can give them the information that you need to give them information so they can absorb it. You can't fake it. You can't just go up there and be a speaker and you know everything, because what do you know? You don't know too much other than what you've learned from in the past. And the reason I know what I know today is because I've had poor teams that I was managing, and I was the one that was responsible, and I blamed them. And then I realized if I ever want to increase my income or increase their income, I'm going to have to train them and hold them accountable. One of the hardest but the most rewarding things I've done is taken on an underperforming sales team and turn them around to get them where they need to go. And at first, I did a lot of blaming. I didn't like very many of them. But the more time I spent with them, like anything, you don't feel you're connected to your kid. That could be a very real thing for all you professionals out there that are working 50, 60, 70 hours a week. Spend more time with your kid. Feel disconnected from your spouse? Spend more time with her. You feel that you're disconnected from your team? Get involved on the early side of things, not at the end of it. Get involved with your team. Talk with your team. The platinum rule, talk to people, speak to people how they want to be spoken to. Talk about a personal thing here and there, and then bring up that personal thing later on. Get them to buy in so that when they do buy in and you do train them and you do hold them accountable and you start getting results, it's a team effort. And more importantly, when you don't get the results, you can counsel. You can go over the cash analysis system. You can actually find out where they're deficient. And if it comes down to the A in cash, well, then guess what you can do? You can talk to them, you can counsel, you can strike one, strike two, and then they got to move on. That's kind of what you need to do. And that's one of those things about the 5 most influential people. Tie that into it as well. I hope that this message served you today. Because the last thing I want you to do is walk up to somebody and say, hey, you're not doing the job. You need to turn your stuff in. That's not the direction this is going. You need to take premium level care of your inner people so that they can take care of the outer people, however that might look to you. Time for you to get out of your comfort zone and live on purpose.
Say goodbye.
Want more of the No Comfort Zone? You can follow Dan on Instagram and Twitter at NoComfortZone1.
Bye.
Or on the web at thenocomfortzone.com.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to the No Comfort Zone podcast.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.